The nation's leader, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, turned 75. सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, मैं देश नहीं झुकने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा. That's what Prime Minister's motto was. And with Operation Sindoor, post Balakot and with Operation Sindoor, has Prime Minister Narendra Modi lived up to that promise? Let's weigh in and get in your thoughts as PM turned 75 with Operation Sindoor itself, because there were multiple aspects at display. Dr. Ranganathan spoke about resolve. It's about pushing on. General Pandey talked about the fact that we are going to give it back to them. But more importantly, you cannot go and hit someone, punch someone and attack at will till the time we have the capabilities. Our indigenous tech, our own ability to fend for ourselves and build our own tech, our own weapon systems. BrahMos was built in Bharat, and BrahMos is the one that they had no answers for. All of this, does that underline that commitment, that Saugandh, Ambassador Deepak Vohra? Since you're closest to PM Modi in age.
No question about it.
I should have actually stopped at closest to PM Modi, but in age.
Well, look, today, may I just add that Narendra Modi is not just the Prime Minister of Bharat. He's a world statesman. He means what he says what he means. And I'll tell you about this. Today, General Pandey would probably bear me out. 2 out of 3 weapons used by the Indian forces today are made in India. Over 100 countries buy our weapons. We have, in terms of weaponry, we have the best in the world. Agni 5 even frightened that joker sitting in the White House that this is a speed of 30,000 kilometers per hour, etc., etc. Yes, he has delivered. But one thing that I'd like to point out, sir, you remember in where was it, in Gujarat, where he said, "Hamara after Balakot, Hamara Siddhant hai, hum ghar mein ghus ke marenge." I was very confused. That since when was this our Siddhant, Dr. Ranganathan? I thought my Siddhant was you slap me here, I give you the other cheek. And it was only at the Mahakumbh Mela, Anand sir, on the 25th of February, that a Mahapurush told me, he said, Rajdoot, aapko Ramayan ki kahani yaad hai, Hanuman ji ne kya kiya tha? तो मैंने कहा वापस आने से पहले उसके महल को आग लगा दी थी. इसे हजारों साल पहले हमने घर में घुस के मारा था. So I'd advise my neighbors, listen very carefully to what the Prime Minister of India says. I wish him many, many long years of service, not just to India, but to the world. Prime Minister, if you're watching or somebody tells you, जो मेरी जिंदगी बची है, वो आपको लगा. The world needs you more than they need, I'm just an ordinary son of Bharat. But you have to take us forward.
We'll also have to ask you the diplomatic question as a diplomat in a bit. But General Pandey, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, okay. So, Anand, I did not realize that possibly, in fact, I was not aware also this entire, such an important day today. But let me just very jog down the memory lane. A few years back from Chinarkor, site a young officer tweeted wishing Prime Minister a very happy birthday. It was from the official this thing. I was out, I was not even aware. And by the time I landed back, while the tweet was deleted, it went viral because thanks to one somebody. And even now people keep on writing articles about how politicized the Indian Army or Indian Armed Forces have become. And but today, now having retired, I can very unabashedly say, wish the Prime Minister a very, very happy birthday, because he has actually done a human service to the country. The most important part, I think, is about Atmanirbharta, because we were on a very steady path of acquisition from the foreign sources. And when a structure, a bureaucratic, military, the Indian system was established that buy foreign, why not buy foreign? Because it makes life simple. And of course, our industry was also not ready to provide what we are looking for. This, to stop that process, requires a lot of courage, a lot of thought, and a lot of willpower actually. And maybe in first direction, first 1 or 2 years, he laid down the path for Atmanirbhar. And then thereafter, he slowly started shifting this whole process that you are going to buy what is Indian, make in India, make for India. And then slowly in this last about 4 to 5 years, we have started shifting to make it for the world,
World.
right? So this entire shift, trust me, it takes decades for institutions to get established. In our case, where I'm coming from military, because I'm going to be fighting that, I need to fight the war today. I must get my weaponry today from wherever you want to get it, and wherever you want to get it is from abroad. It is not from India, right? And we are being leveraged, held hostage. We are buying things which are expensive from the world, and then in turn we are not allowing our own economy, our own job market and industry to prosper. All this has happened. So this shift, only not for defense industry, has ensured that we are slowly becoming Atmanirbhar. Yes, a lot of people will ask question that what about the niche technology? We can't make our own jet engines. We need to ask the question from the people who have framed policies, the bureaucracy, the political establishment, and of course us military leaders. Why did we not look at it about 30 to 40 years back?
Correct.
So that we could have been actually empowered today to do what we want. So I'm quite sure the path which we are on, in spite of denial regimes, the denial regimes in terms of tariffs, trade, the niche technology, and the important raw material which is required in terms of rare earth material and all, is going to be there, and we need to negotiate this murky water to keep on getting ahead. And this direction with this gentleman, whose birthday possibly we are celebrating and we are talking about it, it may seem political coming out, and surely I'm not looking for any benefits from this gentleman, but yet he should be there, and may God bless him long life, so that he can keep on driving a policy on the right lines for Bharat, and vision which he has empowered us for Viksit Bharat of 2047 can only be achieved. It may shift a little bit beyond, but the fact is that we'll be able to achieve only when we go on the path of what he's been directing us on. And may God be with him.
We'll come back to you in a bit. Dr. Ranganathan, as a professor, as a commentator, as someone who gets trolled, and as someone who calls a spade, who's written a book, he says that the Hindus are 8th citizen in a Hindutva, so-called Hindutva-driven leadership in Hindustan. Your thoughts?
Best wishes to Prime Minister Modi on his 75th birthday. But as the famous Anand dialogue goes, and both of us are Anands, Zindagi lambi nahi, badi honi chahiye. Otherwise, it's not about serving long, which he has for 11 years. It's what you've achieved during that time. And I think, Anand, that is where facts, not rhetoric or propaganda, must come in. So let me just recount this, because it's a momentous occasion. Since 2014, our GDP per capita PPP inflation adjusted has doubled to 10,000 USDs under Modi. In 2014, inflation was 10%. Today it is 2%. In 2014, multidimensional poverty as a percentage of population was 29%. Today it's 11%. We have pulled 250 million Indians out of abject poverty in the last 10 years. In 2014, our forex was $300 billion. Today it is $700 billion. In 2014, there were 74 airports. Today there are 149. The number of cities with metros was 5, then today it's 20. 21,000 kilometers of rail network was electrified, then today it is 62,000 kilometers. In 2014, we had 676 universities, today we have 1,200. In 2014, there were 350 startups, today there are 138,000 startups. In 2014, our electronics exports was $7 billion, today it's $23 billion. In 2014, our renewable capacity was 35 gigawatts, today it's 181 gigawatts. In 2014, Sensex was 25,000. Today, it's upwards of 81,000. In the last 11 years, we have built half the total length of the highways we had built in last 60 years previous to the last 10 years. And last year saw independent India's highest ever GST collection, $270 billion, highest ever vehicle sales, 25 million, highest ever income tax payers, 104 million, highest ever manufacturing PMI, 59.2, highest ever exports, 825 billion, highest ever jobs created, 46 million, highest ever forex reserve, 704 billion, highest ever Sensex, 85,900. If any other leader other than Modi has achieved this much in 11 years, by all means, he or she deserves to be the next Prime Minister. Let me just, if I have a minute, list out 11 of his greatest achievements. Number 1, Operation Sindoor. Because of 4 reasons. His new doctrine, as far as Pakistan is concerned, an act of terror would be seen as an act of war. orchestrating an awe-inspiring offensive and defensive military operation, calling out once and for all Pakistan's nuclear bluff and holding the Indus Water Treaty 1960 in abeyance. Number 2, vaccinating 1 billion Indians twice over within a year, because that saved millions of lives and restored faith in India's ability to mass mobilize sources for saving the nation's health. Number 3, 100 million LPG Ujjwala connections, because that directly saves 150,000 lives every year, as household pollution is the single largest cause of infant mortality. Number 4, 370 abrogation, because that integrated Kashmir with India and restored human and civil rights to millions of Dalits, Gurkhas, refugees, women, homosexuals. Number 5, Balakot strike, because that called out Pakistan's nuclear bluff. Number 6, 112 million Swachh Bharat toilets, because each new toilet saves the household upwards of 50,000 in health costs. Number 7, 370 million Ayushman Bharat health insurance cards, because that has slashed out of pocket expenditure, single biggest factor in pushing Indians into poverty by 27%. Number 8, 50,000 kilometers of highways, because that has directly translated to economic prosperity. Number 9, CAA, because that has corrected a long overdue historic injustice towards non-Muslims of subcontinent. Number 10, 110 million tap water connections, because that has slashed under 5 diarrheal deaths by half. And number 11, Air India privatization, because that proves God exists. The nation, Anand, under Modi is on a stunning road to prosperity. Wish him the very best on his 75th birthday.
बाबू मोशाय, क्या डिलीवरी दी है बाबू मोशाय. Do you have a prompter in front of you? But I'm just going to just.
Can I request Dr. Anand to kindly DM me the entire list? What a great research.
Thank you.
Awesome.
प्रॉब्लम ये सर, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? सही बात है, वो आनंद कहे तो सही, ये आनंद कहे तो गलत हो जाता है. बट
यहाँ तो आनंद ही आनंद है.
Anyway, but I've got to wind up on that note. Thank you very, very much to our lovely guests. We will have a longer conversation hopefully very soon. But as we head out, as I thank you all, we have somebody very, very special joining us. Joining us now is Shri Amitabh Kant, who requires no introduction, and his contribution to Bharat has been immense. From God's own country to incredible India, there are many stories that he can talk about. But Amitabh ji, namaste. Right now, I'd like to ask you about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. As he turns 75, your thoughts on his leadership?
Well, first of all, I'd say that he's extremely visionary. He thinks ahead of his time, at least 2 to 3 decades ahead, which rarely do political leaders do that. To think that a country should move from a $4 trillion to a $35+ trillion economy and set the vision for the whole country and mobilize the vision, people of the country towards that vision is phenomenal. Secondly, to my mind, I personally think that he's a very, very big risk taker. These structural reforms which have been done, starting with GST, IBC, RERA, lowering of your corporate tax, ease of doing business. These are very, very complex in a large country like India. Pushing for digitization, ensuring that 550 million bank accounts are opened between 2015 and 2017, taking the number of bank accounts for women from 18% to 90%. These are hugely risk-taking initiatives, but he pushed them to the ground and ensured that everybody works as a team. Thirdly, I think one of his greatest achievements is that he breaks silos. And he breaks silos across, and there is therefore a multidisciplinary teamwork in the government. Fourthly, I would say that he builds a team. He builds a very effective team, and he's then able to extract work out of them. He sets the vision. I saw this during G20. He was very clear about the vision. He left it to me. He never asked me what is. He gave me the direction initially, set the vision, left it after that for me, and only during the final round, and it was a very, very complex and difficult G20. But he had the confidence in me, and therefore that's what a great leader is, confidence in his team. And lastly, I would say that the Prime Minister brings in great level of optimism. His spirit of never give up, his spirit of belief in India, his spirit of great optimism that we will deliver despite all challenges, leaves everybody hugely motivated, charged, and I think that's what delivers the results on ground.
One memory of your interaction with him that comes to mind?
Well, I'm one of those officers who's made the largest number of presentations. As CEO Niti Aayog, I must have made about 200 presentations to him. But I think one of my greatest memories is when we were making the presentation on the backward districts of India. And first of all, he said, don't call them backward. Call them aspirational districts. And that's how this Akankshi Jilla concept came in. And he said that the problem in India is not about money or about resources. It's about good governance. And, the Prime Minister is focused on good governance. And that, to my mind, is really the heart of it all in what he delivers. He says, use data, use real-time data, do effective monitoring, fix outcomes, and then put the results out in public domain. Challenge every collector, challenge every district, challenge every MLA, challenge every MP. And that brought in the spirit of competitive, huge competition amongst districts. Collectors were named and shamed, and they then got motivated, they got charged, and because they were working against outcomes, they delivered. And what a way they delivered. They radically transformed the district simply because of the spirit of competition. And that was entirely PM's idea. That was his vision, that you need to transform the most backward districts of India, but call them the aspirational districts of India. And in a very short while, these districts, which account for almost 20% of your population, started doing better. They started doing much better than the best performing districts of India. That was transformational to my mind. And that really changed the lives of many, many, many Indians and lifted them above the poverty line. And that's how India is lifted under his leadership, over 270 million people above the poverty line. I mean, imagine in a country like India, a large country like India, which is bigger than 24 countries of Europe, you've lifted 27, 28 crore people above the poverty line in a short period.
True. But Amitabh, like you said, many from demonetization downwards, JAM portal, you've talked about a lot of these reforms, pushing this and getting it implemented at the grassroots level. He also suffered, and perhaps he's the most abused personality, political personality, abused and also criticized and also mocked, etc. Did you ever see him react to this or let it affect? Because we are all human beings, trolling, constant abuse, constant criticism tends to get to us. How would he react to criticism?
I think the greatest learning lesson from this leader, according to me, is how to remain cool, calm, collected. Never react. Be a great listener. And never ever react to criticism. You continue doing your work. The greatest quality I learned from him is his ability to absorb, his ability to listen, his ability to learn, and never shy away from the fact that I have not understood this issue. Please explain again. Please explain again. He masters every complex issue. That was the greatest learning experience for me. And to remain against all provocations, to remain absolute. I've never seen this Prime Minister ever. I worked with him for over 12 years. I met him much before that during Vibrant Gujarat summits. I used to go there. I've never ever seen this Prime Minister getting angry at anyone. And that, to my mind, is one of the most remarkable qualities of this leader.
He turned 75. You know, there comes a time in cricketing careers or also sporting careers where there are fans, there are certain people who say it's time for you to retire. Others will egg you on and say carry on, set new goals and then keep batting or keep playing. How would you look at this padav? Because many believe that the Prime Minister should now retire. There are talks like that. And if you believe that he should continue and if he gets elected again, what goals would you like for him to set for himself and for Bharat?
So, Anand, you know, the point is that he's already set a goal for the country, which is more important than setting a goal for himself. He said India must become a fully developed nation, which means that you're moving from a $4 trillion to a $30 trillion economy in a very short span, which means that your GDP has to grow 9x, your per capita has to grow 10x, your manufacturing has to grow 16x. Very few countries in the world have been able to do this. Japan post-World War II, Korea, China, all other countries got caught in middle income trap. Why did they get caught in the middle income trap? Poor political leadership, populistic leadership. And therefore, you need a leader who will take strong, bold, gutsy, courageous decisions for the sake of the country. This decision to bring in GST and now again reform it at this stage, push for consumption demand, required bold, gutsy leadership. Very few leaders could have delivered this by bringing a consensus across states. It requires huge courage. He's demonstrated that. Or Operation Sindoor leadership. It's the rarest. You need a courageous leader to take India to a $30+ trillion economy. You need a bold leader. You need an aggressive leader. You need a leader with a vision. And therefore, you need sustained leadership.
Well, let's hope and pray for all that is good for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Mr. Amit Kant, and more importantly, for Bharat at large. Thank you very, very much, Amitabh ji. This is a short but a very crisp conversation. Look forward to a much more longer and candid one on the road ahead for Bharat very soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Namaste. Well, as we say goodbye on this edition of The Right Stand and we wish Prime Minister Narendra Modi a very, very happy birthday, here are some lesser known facts, episodes, facets of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. At the age of 22, viewers, PM Modi formally became a pracharak of the RSS. Very, very young. But just 5 years later, he wrote his first book about people's struggle against the emergency. And it was in Gujarati that he had written this at the age of 27. Sangharshma Gujarat. That was at the age of 27 that he wrote. Then, at the age of 37, 10 years later, he delivered the biggest municipal body of Gujarat, the AMC, to the BJP. And this was perhaps a never before. Nobody thought this could happen, but he led it, organized it. And that was perhaps the marking of the rise of the BJP in Gujarat. In 1987, during the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra in 1988, he clicked various photographs of Mount Kailash and also the entire route. So he is a keen photographer. He's won awards also. He's very good at photography. And there is also an exhibition that he held of those pictures that he had taken on his visit to Mansarovar. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been one of the first users and first movers into technology and adopting technology. He was one of the first users of the electronic diary, the tablet, the mobile phone, palm top, laptop, email and social platforms. So someone who's embraced technology and at 70 plus as a septuagenarian is engaging with gamers and creators. So that's the vision that he has, and he's somebody who's ready to adapt, adopt and of course learn for the betterment of Bharat. We wish him a very, very happy birthday again. Namaste.